Minecraft thinks that trading with librarians is broken and wants to fix it, but honestly, trading for enchanted books is far from the least overpowered mechanic and not even the most overpowered villager trade. That's before we mention that there's a food that heals you 5 times faster than the rest, and there's an item which definitely is the best because it turns hardcore into peaceful. This is my survival world that I've been playing since 2012, and today I'm going to show you things I do in it quite often that are very broken, starting with the Elytra. This is of course the item which gives you the ability to jump off anything and survive the fall if you just realize a few seconds before the ground. This is an insanely powerful ability by itself, even before you consider that you travel great distances while doing this, but combined with the firework rocket, this is the most broken item Minecraft has ever put out. Do you want to go anywhere in this world, even somewhere that should take a long walk and a big ladder climb, all you need to use is a firework rocket and the Elytra, and you can be there in seconds. If you're not using an Elytra, then you are giving up on valuable seconds and sometimes minutes between places. It's the only real easy way to get between stuff, and although it is a somewhat late game item, it is one of those items that is worth going towards because everything gets so much easier with an Elytra. And is it really fair that an item can give you so much full damage reduction as well as so much speed to get between any points in your world with no infrastructure required whatsoever? I don't know about that one for sure. I personally think there's a lot of other forms of transport that could be buffed, but I do think that it's also fair to say that the thing that people think is more broken than the Elytra is usually villager trading. Being able to trade for an infinite number of mending books or an infinite number of any enchanted book is a really wild feature of the NPC village. However, let me take you to this one, which has existed since 2012 when I built the world. There weren't even villagers when this thing first existed, and let me show you a really interesting set of 2 trades. So here is a villager. It doesn't matter whether he's a cured villager or not, and let me show you when I trade with this guy to get 12, or let's actually say we go to 16. Now we turn those 16 glass blocks that we've just gotten into 32 glass panes. The last 4 really didn't turn into anything, so let's just say we spent 3 emeralds obtaining 32 glass panes. What can we sell those glass panes for? Well, it depends whether you've cured a zombie villager or not. If you've cured a villager, you can sell 32 glass panes for 6 emeralds apiece, which means 32 equals 5 emeralds. I spent 3 emeralds obtaining something, which I then sold for 5 emeralds, getting 2 free glass panes in the process, and also getting a bunch of free XP. Do you notice how my pickaxe is entirely healed now? That is because of the power of mending combined with all of the XP. So you get free emeralds, you get free experience, and all you need to do is once save a villager's life. That is how the zombie curing mechanic works. Saving a villager's life once will give you an infinite lifetime of discounts, which then stacks with all of the most broken trades to give you incredibly reduced enchanted diamond armor, to give you mending books that can cost as little as 1 emerald apiece, or to get any other enchantment in the game infinitely repeatable for just a few emeralds each. It is wild how the zombie curing mechanism works, and you can see why this is something that Minecraft thinks they need to fix, but also why you should really appreciate if you're playing Minecraft right now. Speaking of something you should appreciate if you're playing Minecraft, if you play Minecraft on the version where there is only one size of salmon and it's objectively medium, let me show you something interesting to do with regeneration here on Bedrock. As you can see, I'm only going to regenerate at 1/2 heart every 4 seconds. That is a very slow rate. It means to heal half of your hotbar, 5 hearts, takes 40 seconds, and if you were down to 1/2 heart, it takes 1 minute 16 seconds to regenerate the entire thing. The combat update never came here, for better or for worse, and one of the interesting side benefits of that is that there are only 2 overpowered items that give you regeneration on top of the food regeneration, and that is the golden apple and the enchanted golden apple, or so most people think. These items are pretty well balanced by the fact that you can only find it in rare chests, and that it takes a lot of faff to get both the items involved for this. So what is the overpowered item? For those who don't want to deal with that, it simply requires an oxeye daisy and 1 brown mushroom. So I have a collection of brown mushrooms over here. As you can see, that's definitely just brown mushrooms here. Look how cute the ones in the top are. But with just a single brown mushroom, you can tie them to a lead if you want, like I have at the start of my museum. You can have yourself an infinite source of not just, by the way, milkable buckets is a thing too, because this is technically a cow. You can go over a bucket right here, and you can get yourself lots and lots of milk, which is fun. But what you can also do is you can feed this guy an oxeye daisy and then drink from the bowl, and you will get suspicious stew. This not only gives you the hunger regeneration, but it gives you the literal regeneration side effect, which means my healing is not going to be at 1/2 heart every 4 seconds, but instead can be at 1/2 heart every half second. It more than doubles, it's something like quadruples your healing speed, and all you need is a single mushroom and a very common type of flower. It is wild how easy this is to do, and that's before we mention that when natural regeneration is turned off, it is one of the very few foods that will heal you up to full. It's what I use whenever I'm doing UHC Minecraft for sure, and it is very, very powerful. And the mushroom loves being tied up like this. It's his favorite thing. Look how jumpy he is. That's how you know he likes it. Speaking of knowing how he likes it, mushrooms are overpowered in a lot of ways, and it's definitely the suspicious stew that's the crazy thing here. But the fact that this same mob will give you a bucket of milk really goes to show how powerful a mushroom can be in a survival world. Why is a bucket of milk so useful? Well, let me show you. Let's say you get hit by a splash potion of weakness, and you really don't like that. You get a witch throws this at you, or maybe even poison, right? And so let's say that, god damn, I missed the top. But let's say you get hit by some negative effect. I'm going to use suspicious stew, I guess, as my example. So you get hit by some negative effect that you really don't want. I actually don't know what's on this set of suspicious stew, so we'll find out together. The only way to remove that effect is to have some status effect remover. Milk is the most famous example of those. It's the easiest one to obtain, and so a single bucket of milk on you at all times means that not only can you remove weakness or slowness or poison from a witch, but also the withering effect from a wither skeleton. That's for real. I'm going to go to the Nether right now, and I'm going to show you how even with the most negative effects you can have, a single suspicious stew, a single bucket of milk can remove those. So here is me having all these beacon effects, just as an example. They've got another 13 seconds to go, but if I get slightly outside the beacon radius, which I hope I will be here, you can see I can remove all of those effects with just my bucket of milk. The beacon usually has good effects, but the withering effect is not so good, and so that's an important thing to note. So next up, what's also important to note is if we go through the portal here, the bucket of milk is usually considered the OP version of this, and it is very powerful because it's a versatile bucket. It is worth mentioning, by the way, the honey bottle technically will cure you of some effects, specifically the poison and poison 2 effects. However, it will also stack and then heal you at the same time, so honey bottles might be worthwhile if you're a big bee person, but if you want to cure every other effect, including the most annoying, the withering effect, which the wither and wither skeletons give you, including poison and weakness and slowness, the milk bucket is just the way to go. Oh, hello there, friend. Can you give me an effect? I really want to test something for a video. In fact, now I can eat this suspicious stew, and I can show how even though it's healing, so that's a weird one, you can remove any effect using the bucket of milk, even the most negative effects that you can imagine in the game. That, to me, is absolutely wild, but it's not as wild as what you can do if you just have a bucket and fill it with something else, because imagine instead of the bucket being filled with cow's milk, you filled the bucket with water. For some reason, you can't place milk on the ground. I'm taking some serious damage, even though I can't see what's happening right now. This is... Come on. Minecraft, what's happening? You can't kill me! Why are you gonna do this? Okay, so here's the fun thing. I don't know what happened there, but Minecraft just tried to kill me. Good thing I had some good food on me, although I actually ate my last suspicious stew. Let me show you something that's fun. So I'm going to stack up into the sky, and I'm going to... Oh, no, I fell off my skyscraper. What am I going to do? Place down a bucket of water, and then immediately, no full damage whatsoever. A single bucket can remove all of your liability to take damage from any source that is full related, and that is wild to me. All you need to do is nail that landing, place and unplace. You don't even have to unplace it, but it's a really fun thing you can do. If you just nail that landing, then all of a sudden, no damage whatsoever. This is also, this bucket of water is not just useful for preventing damage from full though, it's also useful for preventing damage from mobs. So right now it is nighttime, right? Which means, let's say a sheep is coming towards me. Let's maybe use a slightly more dangerous mob. It's nighttime, and so there's a zombie coming towards me. The easiest way to keep a zombie at bay is simply to use water and push him away. For some reason, even baby zombies with their ridiculous run speeds will not be able to get you through this water. This also applies to skeletons and creepers and every other mob. So the creeper's running towards me, push him right back. Every other mob can be stopped with a single water bucket. Enderman can't reach you with a single water bucket, and this single water bucket can do some really wild things too, because you can place it on the side of, say, some stairs or a fence post, so it works for partial blocks. So for instance, this is technically a full block of water. This is technically, this is technically a full block of water, and even this is technically a full block of water, which means if I were to fall on even this little bit right here, I would still not take full damage. Don't believe that? Let me fly up into the air and let me show you right now. Okay, there we go. As you can see, that is 3/8 of a block of water, and it still prevented me from taking damage. You can do this with even more ridiculous examples if you really look around your world, but the long story short is you need to take advantage of the water bucket, because one water bucket will save your life more times than every other item on this list put together, assuming you're not playing peaceful. However, you might as well be playing peaceful if you have a shield, right? Everyone knows the shield is an overpowered second-hand item, because any damage you take can be negated. The reason this shield has to be this powerful is because the shield used to be a part of the sword. You used to be able to block using the sword, and it would reduce damage by about 2/3, but Minecraft decided they wanted to not have the sword do both and have an offhand slot, so they had to make the shield powerful enough that people would still use it, and so they made it overpowered as heck. But the funny thing is, even with the shield being so OP, as it very much is, imagine there was a more OP item than even the shield, and the answer is that obviously Minecraft has this. It is the Totem of Undying. The shield is very rarely used because the Totem of Undying turns Minecraft hardcore into Minecraft peaceful, and in case that sounds like a bold claim, let me fall in some lava to prove it. So I think I've got some lava up here. I have fallen into a big pit of lava. You can imagine we're in the end right now, and even though I'm in this big pit of lava and oh no, how am I ever going to get out? It doesn't matter to me because I have a Totem of Undying. That gives me 35 seconds or so, about 40 seconds of fire resistance. That gives me some extra golden hearts to survive, and it gives me some regeneration so I'm not immediately down on my luck. By the way, I'm going to eat